Dear students of 10A and 10B, welcome to my History and Civics class. Today in History class, the lesson which already I have started teaching, few points which are left, I shall complete. Then I shall thoroughly analyze the other points for your satisfaction, and then I shall go for another one. Now, the points as I mentioned in the board, please look at it. First point about the United Nations main organs. Second one, other organs. Third one, achievements. Fourth, conclusion. And fifth, Secretary General. First point, main organs of the United Nations. What are the main organs of the United Nations? My dear students, already I have taught it. But for your better understanding, once again I am giving a synopsis of it. What are the main organs? There are three most important organs of the United Nations are the General Assembly, the Security Council, and the International Court of Justice. These are the most important and most famous organs of the United Nations. Now, in brief form, once again I am analyzing these points. The first point, General Assembly. General Assembly is known as World Parliament. Why? Because all the members of the United Nations are the members of the General Assembly. And each and every representatives of each nation country has to attend all the meetings and seminars of the General Assembly. Because huge working load, huge composition of General Assembly is there. General Assembly has to shoulder many composition. That's why General Assembly's members have to be active in all respects so that the problems of the whole world has to be solved by the General Assembly in consultation with Security Council and other organs, basically Security Council. The General Assembly, is the main deliberative organ also of the UN, and it appoints the Secretary General of the UN on the recommendation of whom? On the recommendation of the Security Council. The Secretary General is the most important post, administrative post of the UN. This Secretary General is appointed on the recommendation of the Security Council by General Assembly. Now, the Security Council. The Security Council is the executive body of the UN. The Security Council is the executive body of the United Nations. It is responsible for the maintenance. It is responsible for the maintenance of international peace and security in the world. And if any of the five permanent members say no to a proposal, veto is said to have been exercised. Veto is said to have been exercised. That means each permanent members have one voting right. And in that case, one permanent member's no means the permanent member has exercised his veto right. In that case, the entire, political circumstances or any international crisis or problems which were going to be solved or settled by the efforts of the five permanent members, only for one permanent member, only for his veto right, only for his veto power, which already he has exercised, this entire system of mutual understanding, entire system of mutual cooperation, entire system of mutual justice would be would be, affected, and then it would not be solved because of the voting right of a permanent member of the Security Council. That's why utilizing or using veto right of any permanent member causes controversy, causes an atmosphere where any international crisis which was supposed to be solved, it cannot be solved, and the process is interrupted because of the use of voting right by one permanent member. That's why the veto should be utilized perfectly, or it must not be exercised by any permanent member. If it is exercised, then no permanent solution is possible by the permanent members of the Security Council. And next one, the International Court of Justice. It is the principal organ. It is another principal judicial organ of the United Nations. It consisted of 15 judges, and elected by the General Assembly and the Security Council for a term of how many years? For a term of 9 years. It gives advisory opinion on legal matters to the organs and special agencies of the United Nations, and decides the disputes between member states if they refer the case to it. So this is the most important judicial organ of the world, the International Court of Justice, my dear students. Now, other organs. Already I have discussed about the organs of the United Nations. What are the organs of the United Nations? Already I have discussed about the General Assembly, the Security Council, the International Court of Justice, the Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, and the Secretariat. Now I am going to discuss about some additional, organs of the United Nations, the Economic and Social Council. The Economic and Social Council, it is responsible for promoting higher standards of living, full employment, and economic and social progress. Economic and social progress. So these are the most important organ of the United. This organ is not so important, but it works in consultation with the Security Council and General Assembly. It is responsible for promoting higher standards of living, full employment, and economic and social progress throughout the world. But it needs cooperation of other organs like the General Assembly, the Security Council, the International Court of Justice, the Secretariat, and the Trusteeship Council. But this organ is fully responsible only for the all-round development of the world. The next point, Trusteeship Council. What is Trusteeship Council? Trusteeship Council is a council charge of all territories which were administered before and the Second World War under the mandate system of the League of Nations. Before the First World War, or before the Second World War, the countries which were administered under the mandate system of the League of Nations, this Trusteeship Council is in charge of all these territories, and it is another duty of the Trusteeship Council to administer them. The mandate system which was introduced for the League of Nations at the end of the role of the League of Nations and after the existence of the United Nations, the territories which were administered by the League of Nations before the Second World War, These territories are administered by the trusteeship council after under the mandate system of the League of Nations. As per the mandate system of the League of Nations, the territories which were administered before the Second World War, this by the League of Nations, these territories would be administered by only the trusteeship council under the mandate system of the League of Nations. That's why this organ is set up. The next one, the Secretariat. The Secretariat is the administrative head. The Secretariat is the administrative head of the United Nations organization. And it is composed of the Secretary, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of the organ, and international staff appointed by whom? By the General Assembly in consultation with the Security Council. Its main function is to coordinate and supervise the activities of the United Nations organ. Its main function is to coordinate and supervise the activities of the United Nations. That means all the organs of the United Nations, from General Assembly to the Secretariat, these organs and its activities are maintained. These administrative and activities are looked after, are coordinated and supervised by whom? By the Secretary General. And this Secretary General's post is the most important post because he is the Chief Administrative Officer of the UN, Chief Administrative Officer of the UN, and this office is the Chief Administrative Office of the UN, and he is known as the Chief Administrative Officer of the organ because he is supposed to solve international crises. Regarding the meetings and seminars which are held in order to allow the member countries to convey their messages or to say something about the solution, about the procedure by which the solution was going to be made, the Secretary General, the administrative officer of the UN, also plays an important role so that any type of international crisis, any type of international problems can be solved easily and smoothly by the UN and UN organs. Up to this, my dear students, thank you.